Hi guys, so it's Shabazz from Freedom Expeditions, and we were talking about going out hiking and talking about various things and using the hike as a means to speak about certain subjects. You'll have seen the previous video, so sort of things we want to be looking at is mental health, physical impairments, could be diet, could be exercise, any of these sorts of things, but ultimately what we're looking at is people's minds, their attitudes, their psychology, and how they're actually, does nature help you become better person? I don't know. I mean, these are all things that we can talk about. So we're out today and introduce you to Jay,
Hi
who
guys.
hopefully will introduce himself and say a few things. So these videos are off the cuff, by the way, not going to be edited, so let's see how it goes.
Hi guys, so my name is JJ. I've met Shabazz through work. My interests have really been politics. I'm a sports science student as well, so health and well-being and a healthy mind and a healthy body are really important aspects to me. So I'm just really excited to have this opportunity to discuss this with Shabazz, and hopefully you guys can take a few nuggets of inspiration from our conversations and inspiration as well for you to get out there and experience, what myself and Shabazz are experiencing too. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Cool. Well, we're going to start walking, and hopefully this works.
Yes.
Um, so, um, so one of the things that I was thinking about whilst was I've had various issues within my own life regarding mental health and that sort of stuff. But I'm always hearing the phrase that getting out into nature really helps you.
Yeah.
And I've got an idea of what that means to me, but I want to explore that a little bit more.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? I mean, how does nature help us? Which would be really interesting to speak about. So basically, yeah, what do you think to that?
For me, as someone that was born in the inner city, and there's not much greenery where I was from, I think being out in an open space like this and seeing so much of the world and so much openness, and it gives me a sense of freedom that I don't usually have in my life. And I think that sense of freedom really gives me a sense of confidence also to try new things, to think new things, to feel new things. And I think really and truly it's what a lot of humans want, that we don't have that sense of freedom to do and feel and try things that we don't usually. But I think a fear of the unknown, a fear of our...
It's interesting you say freedom, because I mean, not just because my company is called Freedom Expeditions, but I had an incident a number of years ago before the company was set up, even before the name came about. I'd left my old job as project manager for many years, and I was looking for something new to do. So set up a DIY company, and I was just helping somebody, working for somebody on a job, and something happened, and it really affected me. It shook me, and I couldn't work out what it was. And when I went home, my wife said to me, "Oh, I know that look." So what do you mean? I said, "Well, that's the look you used to have when you came back from your day job." And I thought, "Oh shit, that's not good."
Yeah.
So I went to see a friend of hers who's a particular type of therapist, and during the session, whatever had got a hold of me disappeared. And maybe in a future video we'll talk about what type of therapy that was if people are interested. But that feeling disappeared.
Yeah.
And I felt this sense of freedom. And I went, "That's it." She said, "What?" I said, "I know what my company's going to be called." She said, "What?" "Free Expeditions." And then I thought, well, that's not right, because I'm not going to give everything away for free.
Yeah.
So I thought, Freedom Expeditions, because that's literally how I feel. And ever since then, every time I'm out on a hike, on a rock face, I feel free. But where I especially feel free is when I'm doing something new, and I'm scared. So I've recently, last couple of years, started doing Scottish winter mountaineering.
Oh wow, okay.
And it is, it's pretty tough. I mean, I get lots of things wrong, and I usually fall. Thankfully, I've not been killed yet.
Yeah.
But
Still time.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. But that real sort of challenge, and I'm very fortunate that I've got mentors around me who see that. and who always push me. But it gives me such a feeling. I always come back with a massive smile on my face. But it's not just the smile on my face. I've got a smile in here.
Yeah, because you've pushed yourself and you've challenged yourself and you felt that freedom as a result. But I think an important thing, one man's Scotland is another man's Yorkshire, and I think even getting somebody here, you know, a man, woman or child, and getting them to experience something like this, I think it's something that you have to do yourself to see how the experience takes you. I know that if someone would have told me I would have felt this way before coming out here, I would have been like, no. But I feel it, I see everything that I like, and I don't think you can do a 360 and look around and not see one thing that you find beautiful, whether it's the greenery or whether it's even a golf course or it's the little villages that you can see, or just being able to see your home and seeing how beautiful it looks from afar. I think it's just having the opportunity to take yourself out of your comfort zone. You may actually feel even more comfort.
And that's the thing, it's the comfort.
Yeah.
Because I realised when I was doing my 9-to-5 job as a project manager, working in an office, yes, I was being challenged. Yes, I was being, trying new things all the time in terms of setting up projects and getting them funded and delivering them and all that sort of stuff. I never, ever really connected with it.
Yeah.
And during my whole time of doing that sort of a job, I was always finding an excuse to go out and meet people.
Yeah.
I love being in front of people, meeting them face to face, eye to eye, shaking hands, and just talking with them. And that's the thing that I took away. Apart from the skills of being able to do that type of a job, I took that main thing of being a community person, a people person, and found this.
But do you know,
outdoor instructor.
Sorry to cut you, but I think one of the beautiful things about coming out to places like this is that everybody you see is kind of on the same wavelength as well, and you see people from a lot of different communities. Some people might be here to walk or to chill out or to come with their family, but you know that they're coming here for a sense of release, almost for that sense of freedom. And that's what I like here, that I've seen people from all different social demographics, all different ages, but it kind of all feels like we're coming to all kind of fellowship in our own separate way, which I like as well. And as I say that now, I've just noticed that there's cows down there, and I know it's really strange, but when you don't see those things every day, sometimes when you can take a deep breath in and just see all the greenery and see nature at its rawest sometimes.
I mean, one of the things I want to explore, and you don't have to go down this route if you don't want to, because we are on video, so it's entirely your choice, okay? But how does being out in a place like this, because I know you've spoken to me before about you've not often done stuff like this, have you? But if you were to do more stuff, or if you thought about doing more stuff like this, how would it affect you given where you've come from and what your life has been like?
I think it would help me. I have pretty bad anxiety at times, and I think I find it very hard to stop my mind from racing. And I think coming out here kind of gives me a sense of, I don't know, it's a bit cliche, but a sense of zen, like a sense of that I can reset myself. And I think really doing this more would help my anxiety, to help me appreciate that things are simple if you can break them down. And it also gives me just a sense of ambience that I probably can't get in the city. No matter where I go, if I go to Starbucks at 7 o'clock in the morning, or I go for a jog in the park, there might be but here I still feel there's that sense of ambience. And obviously there's cars and people, but really and truly this is nature at its best, really. There's not much tampering going on. I can just zone out really in a productive and way that I'm comfortable with, really. And a lot of this as well, this doesn't remind me of my childhood either. So when I'm looking around, I don't have the kind of triggers of whether it be people or places or things that I always see that will make me think about my dad or my mum that passed away. I don't really get those triggers from being around here because it's a completely new environment for me.
It's interesting how you say triggers. So with my situation and my family, when I used to work in that 9-to-5 job, I would often bring that stress and anxiety home. And another thing that I realized is I always believed that I was there for my kids. And now my kids are kind of all in their early 20s now. They start telling me about stuff that they've gone through, or that they are going through during that. And I thought, oh wow, I didn't realize I was like that. And being out here has allowed me, and is still allowing me to understand that there are certain types of behaviour, certain words that I've used, or use, and body posture and whatever, that can lead to those sorts of feelings in other people. So I've got to work on that myself. But it's not easy,
No.
and it's easier when you're with other people who can see that in you.
But
Maybe.
I think it's trying new things. Being out here,
Yeah.
it's helped me to do things like take my own children for a walk and talk to them about the importance of clearing your mind and kind of cleansing your thoughts and being at one with nature. And I know these are all cliche things, but maybe when you do it and you take that first deep breath and you look around and think, oh, this is all right actually. Do you know what I mean? Then you feel it. And I don't only come when it's sunny. I've done this when it's been rainy and snowy, and I've still got the same feeling of satisfaction because I'm coming for that reason. I'm not coming to meet girls or have a few drinks. I'm coming to just clear my mind and release those anxiety really. I've done CBT as well, and they've recommended doing things like this. And I think if you're someone that's unsure about, I don't really like walking and things like that, well then don't walk for ages. Walk for 5 minutes your first time, and then have a seat and take a look at like nature in its finest, and then say to yourself, next time if I like it, I'll have a walk for 10 minutes. And you never know, by the end of the year you might be walking for an hour and thinking, I don't want to walk here anymore, I want to go somewhere further afield. So as someone that's done it, don't be afraid to challenge yourself. And I've written articles about it. A lot more of us need to come out of our comfort zones, because you might find yourself in an even more comfortable place after challenging yourself. Don't be afraid to do that. I come from the inner city where black guys don't really come out walking in the country. Yeah, what are you going walking in the countryside for? Because it's good. And you should do it, and maybe you'll be a bit more calm, bro. So I would definitely recommend this, no matter where you're at in your life, even if you're at your lowest place or you feel like things can't get any better, well maybe they can. And just give it a try. To people like Shabazz out here that know what they're doing out here, and if you need that extra helping hand and a bit of confidence, there are people out there that will give you that confidence. But really, the confidence is inside you. Just having this conversation has made me feel miles better. Just being out here after a hard day's work, I've not thought about work since I got here. And all I thought about when I was at work was I can't wait to go home, and it's going to play on my mind all day. I've genuinely not thought about work until right now. And that was all that was on my mind for a solid 10 hours today. So, the proof is in the pudding, guys. And, the first time doing it is always the hardest. And if you don't like it and you genuinely don't feel it, doing this kind of thing is for you, then fair enough. But give it a try. Because there's nothing really more important than your mental health.
So I'm just going to move the camera.
Yep.
Simply because my arm's tired. So I've just switched my arm. So we're going to turn it to have a better angle. There you go. That's it better, isn't it?
I love this. It's just beautiful. If I could live here, I probably would. But maybe it would take away the mystique. Maybe it would take away the kind of novelty that seeing it every day, would take that away. And coming here and it being something that I'm gearing myself up for and knowing the benefits of it, it's beautiful. Do you know what I mean?
One of the things that I would really, and this is talking to the viewers, is inviting anyone to come along and join me on one of these walks, and we can discuss these sorts of things. Come and join Jay and myself, or just yourself or myself could have a talk, however you want to do it. Is I've heard quite often people say that they love walking and they love nature, but they're still on certain types of medication for anxiety or depression or whatever it might be. So we're not talking about that this is a one-stop solution for everyone. We're talking as part of a package of things that would actually help you. Hello, hiya. And it's that sort of stuff I think which would be really interesting to explore and to unpack a little bit. Because like I said, with these sorts of talks, it's not just about we're not experts. We're not trying to give you a solution to any of these things. We're just relating and sharing our experiences in the hope that there's some benefit to you watching this and listening to this, and maybe you want to come and join us. We can have a discussion, not necessarily in a place like this. Jay's mentioned rain, snow, wind. Personally, that's my favorite weather to be out in. I struggle on days like this, to be fair, but I love the wind. And why do I love the wind? Well, for me, I think one of the reasons is because it's challenging, and I like that aspect of a challenge. I don't always get it right, and it's not about getting it right. It's about putting yourself in that position and challenging and coming out the other end and going, you know what, I did that. I never thought I'd be able to do it, but I've done it, and it's made me feel so much better that I no longer get affected by people saying certain things to me, or there's certain situations going on with the family or with my friends or just within work that normally would have sent me into a spiral of depression possibly, or sent me into thought patterns that weren't good for me, or made me do things, or I felt like I had to do things that weren't good for me or people around them, whatever it might be. I can deal with it in a different way now. I think that is what I get
Yeah.
from being in places
Yeah,
like
I think it
this.
gives you just a chance to approach things differently and also have kind of like a mini mental reset really, where all of the things that have been stressing me out, none of them are in close proximity. So let me take that time now to just kind of divide things up and tackle them mentally in a way where I'm feeling more comfortable really. And really the only problems that I will have on this walk are the problems that I will give myself, the problems that I will allow myself to dwell on. And I can choose what to appreciate. And particularly when I'm not the kind of person that, apart from maybe watching the Discovery Channel, I probably don't appreciate nature and the outdoors as much as I should, because I love life, I love living, but maybe I don't appreciate it as much as I should do because I don't get a chance to live my life that often. I think a lot of us are on that day-to-day churn of 9 to 5, and you get in your car or you get on the bus or you get in your bike and you get to work and you get inside and you do your job and you eat your lunch and you get in your car, you get on the bus, you get on your bike, you go home, you watch some TV, you have a glass of wine or you do whatever, and none of that really involves you asking yourself, how am I?
Can I just say something to that? I
Yeah.
find that really interesting because it's habits.
Yeah,
Human beings, us as human beings, we're creatures of habit.
definitely.
And sometimes you've got to break your habit. You've got to break into that
Yeah.
cycle of things in order to change yourself. And that's another aspect of what I see with being out here because of the wildness. This, for example, okay, we're out in a place called Baildon, okay, which is in Yorkshire, West Yorkshire, and it's fantastic, it's beautiful up here. But imagine a place, for some of you, you'll have been there, others you won't, where you're higher up in the mountains, you're 600, 700, 800 meters up in the mountains. The terrain is different, the skills that you need are different, the clothing that you're going to wear is different. You may be much more uncomfortable, much tougher to be in that sort of environment. But imagine how that changes your habit, because you can't just call time out and say, I've had enough of this, I want to go home. Because you've got to walk all the way back to the car, you've got to find your way there. The fog might come in. And that's what I found really interesting when I first started doing all of this, is that you can't just say, that's it, I've had enough. I've got to deal with what's going on inside me. And maybe that's what has helped me improve. I don't know. I mean, what do you think to that?
I think I think a lot of us just don't confront those issues, do we? We put them to the back of our mind. I think that's why a lot of us are dealing with our anxieties, because we don't really have the time, the space, or the confidence to tackle our anxieties. And maybe being out somewhere here gives you the time and the space, and if you do it enough times, it will give you that confidence. I don't think myself or Shabazz are saying that one walk in the countryside and you're going to be doing backflips to work the next day, but it's about a journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
We could talk about it whether we're walking, but a journey in regards to your personal development. And no matter what age you are, personal development can always start. It should never stop. And I just think looking at the more I look at it, there's always different things that I notice, and there might be things that you do that you notice about yourself. I never knew I liked being outside in the countryside as much as I did until I started doing it. And you might find that you never knew that you liked observing animals in the wild until you did it. You never know that you like spending time with your husband or your wife or your kids or your nephews and your nieces outdoors until you did it. But for me, things like this are important. There are important steps to take in regards to resetting your mindset and thinking, how can I make things better for me? How can I take that time and that space out to ensure that I feel better about myself?
No, absolutely, and it's one of the things that was on my mind during the when we were in the height of the lockdown, because I was hearing stories about people who have not been out of their flat, even to go for a walk. And this, we're talking about inner city London, Manchester possibly, places like that, Birmingham, and they're in a flat, all their family. Now, yes, they're in there for a reason. They want to keep themselves safe and their loved ones safe and not put other people in danger as well. So I get all of that. But what I find interesting is how they've not gone out, even just to the shops. And they may not have access to a park or greenery around them. So what you're doing is walking around an urban street, concrete jungle. And to me, that does have a negative effect on you. And it's something which, if it was me, I would have to deal with. And it'd be interesting to see what other people think of that remark. And that point, and that thread. So maybe that could be another thread for another video, possibly.
Or even couples. If you guys are struggling to talk, there's always that kind of thing in the way. Come out here, and even if you're with it's maybe a sibling that you're struggling to. Maybe a change of scenery is what you need, and a change of scenery don't mean going down to Wetherspoons instead of another pub. It means like getting yourself out there, and maybe. We talked about negative triggers. Maybe this will trigger something positive within your relationship. Do you know what I mean?
Just going to move the camera again.
So yeah, I know it's quite an open thing to say, but the opportunities are endless in regards to getting out there and doing something. And as someone that's had some struggles myself, I can't tell you how good it feels to be able to be out here and appreciate it for what it is, and know that it's a part of my journey now, knowing that walking is something that I'm going to pass on to my kids, and an appreciation for just how beautiful parts of our country are. And just, you might not even be in England right now, you might be in Scotland, Ireland, Wales, Northern Ireland, you might be in the States or wherever. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't stop you from appreciating the beautiful parts of where you come from. There's beautiful parts of every country in the world. It just happens that Basildon is a beautiful place that we're in today, but I've been to other beautiful spots, and Shabazz has inspired me to pick this back up when we're out of lockdown and things like that. So if anything, just take some motivation that even if it's not this, we're still talking about a freedom of your mind, and being who you deserve to be, really. And like you were saying, being stuck in that concrete jungle, it is a suffocating feeling, seeing the same people.
Yeah, and it's and the other thing that I think could be part of it is when you're going back to habit.
Yeah.
And being creatures of habit, is when you're always in a particular routine, you only know so much about yourself.
Yeah.
So in order to find out more about yourself, you're watching this, do you think it's fair to say that you need to change what you're doing, change your habits? We're not just talking about, getting up at a different time, sleeping at a different time, or even changing your job and things like that. What I'm talking about, it could be those things, but it could be anything just minute, in your life.
Maybe it's I'm not going to have a few glasses of wine this evening, I'm going to go for a walk.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And then maybe when you come back, you think, you know what? Well, bad that actually. Maybe I'll go for a couple of walks a week, and you don't know how you'll change. It was the same when I approached the gym, really slim growing up, and I went, and the first time I went I was intimidated, I didn't really like it, but I said to myself, give yourself a few days, and I can say it's probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. And I think that confidence of going into a gym and picking up a piece of equipment gave me the confidence to go to places like this and go to places like Ingleborough and Ilkley and try these new things.
You keep talking, Jeff, but I think we're going to head over there.
Okay.
Because it's really windy here, and I've got a feeling that the wind, is really being picked up by the mic. Like I said, folks, these are unedited videos. Yeah, the whole point is to capture our conversation. And we may say stuff that we'll regret later.
Yeah, well, you know what though, I think being out here kind of gives you that openness, doesn't it, to have more frank conversations where, you don't feel like there's 1,000,001 people listening to what you're saying and things like that. And obviously I'm not going to tell you guys everything about my life, but,
I could sit down here, couldn't
I probably felt a bit more open just being out here than I probably usually would, really. So I just think we're at a time now where there's so much pressure in the world, and there's not much really out here that reminds me of the negativity at the moment. Not to say that we ignore it or whatever, because that would be silly, but
I mean, this phrase is like recharging your batteries. Getting rid of all that, or not thinking about that negativity in your life. But the issue is once you leave this place, you're going to go back to it.
Yeah.
And that's what I find interesting, because that is something I had to deal with in terms of how I was behaving with my own family, my friends, my colleagues. It's something that I still think about, all the time. Is when I'm out in the mountains, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I'm going to go back to my house. I've got the same routines there. You know, is that a good thing?
But
Should I be changing my
if
routines?
you think of it like
know?
being a footballer and you've got an injury, and the pitch is the place where you got injured, maybe this is the physio room, that you're not always going to be here, but this is a part of
Yeah,
your rehabilitation, your development, and this is where you need to come. Or maybe it's your gym. This is where you need to go, so that when you were in that environment that will give you higher chance of being stressed or injured as a footballer, that there's a place that you know you can go to kind of help your rehabilitation and keep you fit.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I think it's just about kind of tailoring. There's always impediments to success. There's always impediments to succeeding, and trying new things. But a lot of the time, the biggest impediment is ourself and our own mindset.
Yeah,
Nothing
yeah.
stopped me coming here before, apart from just thinking, oh, I can't be bothered. I'll just watch telly. And now I know.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Well,
know,
this is it, because you suddenly, because I mean, interestingly, I think there'll be a lot of people out there that have had similar experiences throughout the whole lockdown, which is you might be trying things for the first time. Now, I haven't. Get this, I've started running now, yeah, and a lot of people who know me will be laughing right now. I haven't run for about maybe 10, 12 years. I've always thought it's really bad for me. I've got lower back problems, and it's always, exacerbated that. But I did my 4th run the other day, so I'm running every 3rd day, just taking it nice and easy and building up. And I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. Just it's changing my routine, and it's making me look at things in a slightly different way. It's just simple things. Your family member might say something to you and you react in a certain way. Well, actually, if you do something else that challenges you and changes you, you don't have to react like that. That's one way of putting it, I suppose.
and one thing is, I can't wait to now tell my kids about the walk that I went on this evening, and then tell my sister about it. And it gives you that kind of, because I'll tell you what though, the difference would have been that I would have just been very unmotivated and said, oh, Dad's just been at work today, or to my sister, oh, she's been at work. Now I could be like, do you know what, I went to the countryside and I saw this and I saw that, and you know what, maybe we should go. And even if you're not planting the seed for your success and your rehabilitation, maybe there's someone else that will just see the change in you from trying something new. And because we're not just saying here walking is the be all and end all, or hiking is the be all and
absolutely.
end all.
No, we're not saying that. Yeah.
Your mental health improving is
Yeah.
the most important thing. But what we're doing at the moment, I think, is talking about this as a vehicle that you can try in order to kind of get to that place, and
Yeah,
at least
yeah.
having the bravery, which is hard. It's hard.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
step out your comfort zone is completely
Well,
hard.
no, this is it, because I know lots. I do know some people, not lots, but some people who, have
Hello there.
who have been hikers for a long part of their lives. They live in places like Cumbria, but they're still on medication. Okay, so it's for them. It's not for them being out and living in that sort of place is part of the package.
Yeah.
That keeps them in a place where they're saying they're happy, or they feel comfortable with themselves. Whatever it is that you've got to do, and however you want to define it, that's entirely your choice. But for me, I personally, I don't agree. I don't want the medication.
Yeah.
I don't want to go down that route. Again, maybe that's a thread for another video someday. But I just want to be able to see how far I can get with my own development.
Yeah.
Using this,
I think the important thing.
see how far I can get with it, really.
I always say that everybody's depression is different. Everybody's anxiety is different. So what works for one person might not work for another person. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
doing this might be your medication. But you might also need, if you're another person, you might need to do this and supplement it with medication after obviously speaking to your doctors and
Yeah.
people that you trust.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what I think what Shabazz is saying is not a one size fits all. I personally, I've been on medication for my anxiety. I want to come off it because I feel like the best approach for my anxiety is diet, exercise, and things like this. Getting out there and just living rather than living inside my own head, and taking
Yeah.
that first step. Whether it's in your car today, or in my car another day, or on the bus or on a bike. Once you get out there, you're there, and I'm really happy that I could have said to Shabazz, I've had a long day at work, mate, and but I started to tell myself no about the benefits. And
I tell you what, sorry to interrupt, but I've just thought of something. I was having a conversation with somebody on Facebook.
yeah,
There are other social media platforms out there, by the way. I know, that are better. And I was talking to somebody, and this person said, kind of like we sent a message to each other after, quite a long time. And I'd met this person only once, but I'd kind of follow them on Facebook. And I met them on a charity climb up one of the mountains in the UK. And they were saying, oh, you don't want me back there, and I really struggled, and you must have thought this and that of me. And I said, well, actually no, because part of the thing that makes me feel humble is working with people who are completely out of their comfort zone, really, really struggling, but they still get to the top and get back down again. Or they might have got halfway up and then they get back down again. Or they might have done their limit, wherever that limit is, and then got back down. As long as they're back safely, then to me, I look at that person and go, you know what? The first time I went up a mountain, because I had an operation on my Achilles tendon, and the first time I went up a mountain after that operation, it took me a long time to get to the top of Snowdon, which is in Wales, North Wales. And now, without blowing my own trumpet, I can whiz up and down. It's not a problem. However, the first time I did it, it was like, oh my God, I'm not doing this again. This is ridiculous.
How am I going to get past this?
Exactly. But it was after I got home that I suddenly realised how much I enjoyed it.
But you know what? It's that, I know, I'm sorry for cutting you
Yeah,
off, but it's just seeing the smile on your face when you mentally replay your journey. Do you know what I mean? That's
exactly,
what we're talking about here.
Exactly.
You're not going, oh, Snowdon. You're like, no, Snowdon. And even when you go back to the place where you struggled and it probably wasn't a smile on your face, now it gives you a sense of joy, because that whole experience is linked to success and development and progression, and that's the things that kind of make us smile.
And it's connections in your mind, isn't it? And when I go back to those sorts of places, or I'm just out anywhere, there's certain connections going on, and I'm thinking or reflecting about certain things, and it's that reflection that kind of thing, because my wife was saying, oh, you need to get out. And we're very fortunate where we live. We have a big park opposite our house, and we've been able to go, when we're allowed to, when we've been allowed to go out for a walk, and just experience that. But even that, hasn't been enough. I'll be honest. I've wanted to go out more, wanted to do more stuff, and every time I can, when it's okay to do so, I'm out trying to do stuff. So the way I've kept myself busy is working on my van, trying to improve my camper van and make it a better place to be in. But everybody's got their own stuff to do, really, haven't they? I mean, I don't know.
But don't limit yourself, is what I'd say. There's so many parameters put on us for different reasons, whether it's our gender or whether it's our race or anything like that. And don't let those things be parameters to you anymore. Like I said, I've talked about the article I wrote. I talked about people going
Which article was that?
It was for a charity called East Streets Arts.
Okay.
And it was about activism linking with politics. But the link that I was making was that maybe we should be stepping out of our comfort zones and experiencing more things, particularly people from working class areas that see things like walking in the countryside or going to the theatre or going to the museum or the art galleries, more middle class type things. No, this is our countryside as well.
Now you see that our countryside, right? People ask me because, okay, say you're an Asian guy, Pakistani guy, you're a Muslim guy, whatever it is, and I say, yeah, okay, my faith is very important to me. Okay, I am a Muslim, but I'm British. And when I say to people that I'm out in these places, these are my mountains. This is my countryside. I was born and bred here. I don't need or seek anyone else's permission to say, I want to walk here. Obviously, there's courtesy to local people wherever you're going. Behave correctly, because to me, a lot of this is about have good behaviour. And behaving in an honourable and good way with people you've never met before. So you don't just park anywhere. You don't leave litter and so on and so forth.
Like respect, so it looks the same
exactly,
as it did when you leave here.
But it's my land. And that's what I want to instill in the people around me, people from the black communities, the Asian communities, whatever. it's your land. It doesn't matter whether you came here 2 months ago. It doesn't matter if you were born here and been raised here and your parents have been here for 2, 3 generations, whatever it is. It's your land, and you can decide within boundaries of honor and
Legalities.
dignity and legality, yeah, within those boundaries, how you choose to interact with the land around you.
And the people are usually lovely as well. To be fair,
Yeah.
one thing that people always smile at you, always say hi. There's been and I've come a lot of times to the countryside, and people are always buzzing to be here.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah,
think there's
yeah.
almost that kind of camaraderie you can share. I mean, we spoke with some guys on the way here that we'd never seen before, and they were
Yeah,
lovely
yeah,
to you.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
3 boulders.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, this is just a thing. I'm sure if I would have gone up to them and gone, "Hey, lads, what are you doing?" They would have been fine for explaining it to me. So, you know, maybe you might meet some people that you never thought you'd meet by just going places that you never thought you'd go. Whether it's up a mountain, you know, through the countryside, even going to your local farm, you know,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
little
Yeah.
things like that, small
Yeah.
baby steps. And going with maybe your partner or your children or your parents, maybe if it doesn't unlock something in you, it might unlock something in somebody else where they're at a place where, because I think what we're going back to is mental health, that they're in a place where they could maybe challenge themselves and
Yeah.
help themselves in regard, because we all have spiky diagrams of our mental health. No one's mental health just shoots up and gets exponentially better.
Yeah.
It all goes up and down and up and down. And obviously some of us have higher lows and higher highs and what have you, but everyone's going to have that. So if we can equip ourselves, and particularly the people we love, to combat those issues and those feelings of doubt or depression or anxiety or whatever challenges you face, why not have more? Think of your mind like a Stanley knife almost. Why not give yourself as many tools as you can to combat whatever problem it is, whether it is anxiety, whether it is depression. Uh, as someone that, you know, deals with anxiety, is crippling at times.
Yeah.
Also, I know that by doing things like this, it's why I'm back again.
I'll tell you where my anxiety, where I feel my anxiety is in the pit of my stomach. If I'm in a situation where I either, you know, maybe I feel cornered or maybe it's something I can't handle
Yeah.
and deal with. And it's the same sort of feeling I get when, because I'm still scared of heights,
Yeah.
but I'm a rock climber, but I'm scared of heights. But when I'm not on the rock face, for example, and I'm thinking about it, even now, I get a bit of a feeling in the pit of my stomach and I get like pins and needles in the soles of my feet. But when I'm actually on the rock face, I love it. All of that just disappears. I'm not saying I'm a fantastic rock climber. Again, I'm not a fantastic rock climber. However, I love exploring the rock. And one of the things that I found, and I'm sure there's other people out there who are climbing who feel like this, I'd love to hear from you, is when you look at a guidebook, there'll be particular routes and it'll say do this move and there's the route and it goes up certain place on the rock face and it's this number, it's that number, what have you. Quite often I won't even look at the guidebook and I'll just look at the rock face and go, right, where do I want to climb? I'm not that bothered about doing particular routes, and I know people are, and I think that's fantastic. And I do that in order for my own logbook and to get better at what I'm doing and to improve my skills. But just sometimes I just want to be just climbing wherever, and I have that same sort of philosophy when it comes to hiking. I just want to explore. I don't necessarily want to go to that point over there because I've been asked to go or told to go. And obviously if I'm told to go, so when I did my assessment, for example, yeah, okay, I'll take you there. But I want to explore. And in order to explore, and this is very particular to hiking and navigation in the mountains, is you've got to know where you are all the time. So, okay, I want to go and explore that area over there, but in order to get there, I'm going to have to do this, and this to get there. And that sort of philosophy has really helped me in my own life.
Problem solving and things like
Yeah,
that. Or,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm not worried about what life's going to throw at me. I think that's what I'm getting to.
I think one of my main things that I don't like in life is I don't like confrontation. That makes me really anxious, and I think being outside in such an open space where I'm in control, I think the only confrontation I'm going to have is with maybe an angry grouse or something. Do you know what I mean? Like it's it kind of puts me in that space where you're not, like we said, in a concrete jungle, the hustle bustle and all those kind of things, and I'm totally in control of my own destiny and in general my own thoughts really. And I think it's very hard, particularly in like the, the current hustle bustle of society, to be in a place like that, even in your own house. You know, I live in an apartment where I'll always hear somebody making some kind of noise about something, and that doesn't make them a bad person, but I'm maybe never going to be in a space I need to be to maybe meditate or just to not hear anything, whereas all I can hear now is crickets, birds and
I was
shabazz.
just going to say, you can hear us. I think my phone is telling me that we're running out of space
Okay.
to record. But I was just going to say you can hear us. But when we're quiet, what can you hear? So let's just set 10 seconds or so. Just be absolutely quiet. Apart from a bit of traffic.
Yeah. And even that is kind of the primary noise is the birds. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, I mean, I live in the inner city, Leeds, so I'm not hearing Tommy. You know what I mean? And I'm not dissing people, but sometimes you need
Yeah.
some time away from that. And I know I'm not going to hear that here.
Yeah.
And it also, when I get back home, it'll make me appreciate this place, and I'll be looking forward to coming back again.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yeah. Although we've had like a nice chat, and about what's been happening, I think what this chat has also done is made me realise that I need to come back to places like this on my own, with my children, with my friends, with my family.
Okay, so with that being said, I think we're going to finish off now.
Okay.
Thank you for watching, guys. But if you want, first of all, Jay, would you be happy to come back and do more talks?
Oh, definitely, especially that I've had such a good time. Even if the camera wasn't on, I'd come back. So
Yeah, fantastic. Okay. And on that basis, there's loads of other things to talk about, and I'm sure we'll have lots of interesting conversations. But if there's anything you've, particularly empathise with, or you want to hear more about, or you want to hear us talk about more about, a particular thread that's come out of this video, leave a comment. Leave a comment. Let us know, and we'll pick that up in a future video. And maybe you want to come and join us. We're in West Yorkshire, but maybe we could meet up in Cumbria or the Peak District, when it's safe to do so, and okay to do so. We could maybe do some videos down there. Maybe that'd be really good, and I'm very keen to do stuff like that. Whether you work in the outdoor industry or whether you just want to get out and have a walk and maybe talk about things, perfectly fine. Doesn't matter who you are, and maybe there could be a group of us walking, so it's more than just yourself and myself. Yeah, come and join us. Jay?
Yeah, it's things like this make you appreciate like how important kind of cleansing your mind is, but also how important like meeting people is, and experiencing life, and it'd be nice to kind of meet more new people from things like this, or just knowing that someone's watched something like this and thought, you know what, maybe I should, or I won't mind having a chat with those guys about this. And no matter who you are, or if it's your first time or whatever, just have a chat, or just put a comment down, but take that first step. Even if it's something that you don't really want to engage with us on this video, and you do something privately, then do it. Because I think that's the essence of what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
But obviously, it'd be nice to meet people through this. It'd be nice for, Shabazz to hear from some of you guys and your thoughts and feelings about this, and, just see where it goes, like many things. So yeah, it's been lovely. I'm really happy that I came here, and, hopefully you guys will hear from my big mouth again sometime soon.
All right, guys. So,
see you later.
Jay, I'm Shabazz from Freedom Expeditions, signing off. See you later, guys. Bye.